It happened on a night I never expected, a night that was supposed to be nothing more than a harmless dinner with friends. My wife, Anna, had insisted we attend a gathering at a restaurant with some of our closest friends and a few new faces. She was excited, dressed beautifully, and full of energy. I went along willingly, never imagining that the evening would become the turning point in our relationship, the moment that changed everything I thought I knew about us at the restaurant. Buzzed with laughter and conversation, plates clinking and glasses toasting. At first, the night went smoothly. Anna was animated, telling stories and making everyone laugh. She had always been the life of the party, and I admired that about her. But then, slowly, the tone began to shift. It started small, with little jokes at my expense. She poked fun at the way I had recently taken on a home project that hadn't gone as planned. Everyone laughed, and I laughed along too. It seemed harmless, just playful teasing. But as the night wore on, her remarks grew sharper. She joked about my career, how I hadn't advanced as quickly as some of the others in the room. She made a comment about my appearance, how I had let myself go compared to when we first met. The laughter around the table grew louder, but inside me, a different feeling began to grow. I smiled through it, pretending it didn't matter, but each word cut deeper than the last. What made it worse was the way she looked at me while saying it, smirking, as though she enjoyed the attention, as though humiliating me in front of everyone gave her a thrill. The final straw came when she told a personal story, one I had trusted her with in private, and twisted it into a punchline. Everyone laughed at my expense while I sat frozen in my chair, a forced smile plastered on my face. My chest burned with humiliation, anger, and a growing determination. That night, I realized something important. Respect in a relationship isn't just about love or affection. It's about how your partner treats you when others are watching. Anna had crossed the line, and I knew I couldn't let it go. When we got home, she acted as if nothing had happened, chatting cheerfully as she kicked off her heels. I stayed quiet, my mind racing, replaying every word, every laugh, every smirk. She had no idea how much damage she had done, no idea that she had awakened something in me, a resolve she wasn't prepared for. Over the next few days, I kept my distance. I spoke less, observed more, and let her think that everything was fine. But in my silence, I was planning. Not a petty retaliation, not an angry outburst, but a calculated response that would show her the weight of her actions. The opportunity came sooner than I expected. A week later, we were invited to another gathering, this time at a friend's house. Once again, Anna was in her element, laughing and chatting, soaking in the attention. But this time, I was ready. When the conversation turned toward careers and accomplishments, Anna began to make another remark about me, her tone dripping with condescension. But before she could finish, I calmly interrupted. I began to share details of a project I had been quietly working on for months, a project I hadn't told anyone about, not even her. It was a professional milestone, something that would significantly boost my career and reputation. As I spoke, the room grew quiet, everyone listening intently. I explained the challenges I had faced, the solutions I had come up with, and the recognition I had received from higher-ups at work. People asked questions, impressed, their respect for me growing with every word. I could see Anna's face change. Her confident smirk faltered, her cheeks flushed, and her eyes darted nervously. For once, the spotlight wasn't on her, it was on me, and I wasn't being laughed at. I was being admired. Then, as the evening went on, I carefully turned the tables further. When she tried to make another joke at my expense, I responded with calm wit, redirecting the humor in a way that made her stumble. People laughed, but this time not at me, at her. The power shift was undeniable. By the end of the night, Anna sat quietly, no longer the center of attention, no longer smirking. She looked at me with a mix of surprise and unease, as though she was seeing me differently for the first time. When we got home, the silence between us was heavy. She finally asked why I hadn't told her about the project, why I kept it a secret. I looked at her and simply said that not everything needed to be shared, especially with someone who had used my vulnerabilities as entertainment. The look on her face told me she understood. For the first time, she realized that her actions had consequences. She had tried to shame me, but instead, she had exposed herself, her lack of respect, her thoughtlessness, her cruelty. That night changed our marriage forever. She never joked about me in public again. In fact, she became quieter, more cautious, as though afraid of repeating the same mistake. The power dynamic had shifted. I wasn't the man to be mocked anymore. I was the man who had shown her that. Respect is not optional, Dot. And though I carried the sting of that night's humiliation with me, I also carried the memory of my quiet revenge, the moment I turned the tables, and the lesson she would never forget. She thought humiliating me in front of everyone would break me. But instead, it was the night she lost the ability to ever humiliate me again.